Beginnings will close the first part of today's program with a family Christmas with soloist Missy Strain.
The First National Bank and Trust Company in Larned is proud to present today's Christmas concert featuring Larned High School's mixed choir and girls choir. They are proud of the youth in their community, and they hope you will enjoy the music of Christmas. The First National Bank of Larned believes the carols and stories of the holidays never grow old, and likewise the greetings of the season are timeless. A message that's nearly 2,000 years old may not seem new, yet as the earth turns each season, the sound of a wish for happiness, joy, and peace is eternally renewed. The First National Bank in Larned hopes the spirit of Christmas comes to your heart this year. Everyone at the First National Bank of Larned also hopes you save some of the spirit for the new year ahead. Celebrate the spirit of Christmas 365 days a year, the spirit of goodwill toward men, and the hope of peace on earth. Season's greetings from the folks at the First National Bank and Trust Company of Larned.
Larned High School sophomore quartet, the Axidentals, will sing Jamaican Noel.
tiny little baby, tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby, he's a tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
Pull on the rope, roll the boat ashore.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
Oh, hear the heavenly angels sing.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
Shout from the rooftop loud and clear.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
Then Mary's little boy child now is here.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Tiny little baby, tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby, he's a tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. The devil's been working since the dawn of time. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. To win your heart and steal your mind. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. But Mary's little baby boy, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem, will make you stomp on the devil and dance for joy. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Tiny little baby, tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby, he's a tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
Pull in the net, row the boat ashore.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
Go into the closet and shut the door.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
The little voice you hear inside.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
If you be smart, it be your guide.
Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Tiny little baby, tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby, he's a tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Now sound of the trumpet, beat on the drum. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. The wondrous holy night has come. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Pluck all the harp strings you can find. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. 'Cause the tiny little baby's gonna save mankind. Tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Tiny little baby, tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby, he's a tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. Tiny little baby, tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby, he's a tiny little baby born in tiny little baby born in Bethlehem. He's a tiny little baby, tiny little baby born in Bethlehem.
We continue our program today by featuring the Larned High School Girls Show Choir group Les Chantés with the title song from an 80s Broadway show, Dream Girls.